Do you know about this controversy, Brian?
I'm outraged by her getting fucking canceled, but
okay, so
it's ridiculous. But
well, I mean, she's fighting back. She's teaming up with yeah.
She's kind of she's fighting back.
What is she doing? How is she?
She's doing a movie with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, his company.
About her life, right?
I think it's about her life, or just maybe something that she's wanted to do it all her life.
It's a far cry from Mandalorian, but good for her.
Yeah.
You know, it's not Star Wars, it's not Disney. Here's what gets a little dicey is even when she did all those tweets, which some of them, it's whatever. If you want to be political, be political. The Nazi one with Corona, little extreme. I don't know if she should be fired, but little extreme.
I didn't find it. She was it might have been a clumsy comparison, but all she was saying is that a lot of these things start with snitching on your neighbor.
Yeah.
And that's not good for unity. It's not, and I agree with her.
But here's the problem though, B. So then Disney knows all this. Then she had the transgender thing, but then she even went back on that and apologized. She's like, I didn't realize I was offending people by putting my pronouns are bebop boop. You know, she's like, she's making. Then she goes, I talked to a transgender friend and they let me know that's not okay. I apologize. So whatever, she apologized. But then with this stuff, Disney was like, hey man, if you're gonna stay on, you need to apologize. And she refused to do a apology. That's when they fired her.
But I wouldn't have apologized because I don't know what she has to apologize for. She made a reference to the Holocaust. She wasn't belittling Jews. She wasn't belittling culture. She wasn't belittling religion at all. She was saying that if she has a point of view on this, which is that some of these government policies are oppressive or are authoritarian.
Especially where she's at in California.
And historically, a lot of these things do start this way. I'm not saying I even necessarily agree.
Them.
I'm just saying it's a clumsy comparison. But I think, you know what I think?
She shouldn't lose her job.
I think she lost her job for, I think sometimes you lose
I think
your
they're
job.
waiting to fire her and they're like, all right,
Oh, really?
she did what? And people are upset.
Sometimes they go, you know, we want to take the story a different place. We want a different actress.
Oh, so it's just like an easy out.
I think so.
But it's also not an easy out.
Her fucking co-star, who is very left-wing, what's his name? The other guy. He posted something exactly
Pascal Pedro,
Pascal.
Right? He was on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, in 2018, he fucking tweeted something
Narcos.
way more clumsy. He tweeted a fucking Holocaust reference where he had kids in cages at the border.
Yeah.
And then he had concentration
And no one
camps.
cared. And no one cared.
Now those kids, comparing those kids, and it's terrible that they're taken away from their parents. You don't compare that. It's not comparable to Jews who were starved, tortured.
Well, none of it's
murdered.
comparable.
Just don't compare.
None of it's comparable. But the
and that's
point
a
is,
really clumsy
he didn't
comparison.
lose his job.
Sure did. He celebrated.
Nothing. Yeah, he celebrated.
So you think they wanted her
because
out?
he's on that
Game
left
of
side of
Thrones?
the spectrum.
No,
we live in a time. She's the Trump supporter.
Got it.
Well, you know, if you,
so they want to cancel anyone who's different.
If you're a Trump supporter and you're in Hollywood, it's no secret. If you're a Trump supporter and you're anywhere now, it's no secret.
But she had to know that
you're
she
going to
was
lose
gonna,
your job.
She had to know that there was going to be some backlash.
That's what I'm thinking.
You
have to know there's going to be consequences and repercussions.
But now Dana's in trouble because what? Because
so he's not necessarily in trouble, but no worries. He said something like in defense of.
He said leave Gina alone, and then Dana's argument is because they asked Ariel, who's an ESPN employee.
That's where the story is.
He goes, oh, that's whatever. That kid's a douche.
Yeah, because he's trying to make it about himself. That's what he's like. Ariel did this post, a very long post on his Instagram.
I'm with Dana on this.
About what?
Ariel said, like, you know,
he's disappointed in Gina because my people and Jews and all this is like, this isn't about you.
Hey, Ariel.
Yeah, this ain't about you.
Yeah, it's not about him.
You don't need to tweet about every single Jewish thing. This isn't about you. Yeah. And he's also in the world too, so you're just dogpiling on Gina, the interview she's giving you and shit. It's like, what are you doing? So bullshit. Dana didn't mention about his Jewish heritage. He just goes, that kid's a douche, basically.
Yeah.
And if you know the background between Dana and Ariel, they don't like each other. Yeah. So of course Dana's take a shot at him.
Yeah.
And then all the woke ESPN, like, we're like, oh, Dana should be fired, and good for you, Ariel. It's like, oh God, get out of here.
Yeah, so, and Ariel does grade a lot of fighters the wrong way. I mean, Ariel a lot of people get mad at him.
Yeah, because he's a reporter that wants to get content.
He's also a good. I mean, Ariel, to be fair, is a pretty good journalist. I mean, pretty good MMA journalist, I would say. I mean, you know, but a lot of people don't like him because he calls you on stuff.
Oh, so this is just him saying. Because he is saying that Ariel's making it about him, and it kind of does seem like he does make it about him too. But of course, he's also very offended by what happened too. But I'll play this clip.
Remember, Dana's
it wasn't that offensive. I'm sorry.
For everybody to go in on her. I love how Ariel Helwani made it all about him. It was all about him.
Yeah.
Such a douche.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, that's how he's.
But again, he's not anti-Semitic. He's not anti.
He's anti-Ariel. He hates Ariel.
Yeah, he doesn't like
Ariel's.
It's
he's
that
talking-
individual
he's talking about
soul.
Ariel.
It has nothing to do with
Yes. Nothing to do
religion,
with
the
that.
Holocaust.
And
none
I
of that.
think there's an argument to be made there. I think
he's kind
A
of
lot of people don't
look
like
at,
Ariel.
You look at Ariel's tweet, like, geez, dude,
don't be hey Ariel. You don't have to beat a dead horse.
don't dogpile.
She already got fucked. Okay,
Correct.
fucked over big.
Yeah,
time.
you're not helping anyone. by
Yeah,
doing
you're
that.
definitely just
A couple of your colleagues at ESPN gave you the rah, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You're not winning any fans.
And they
with
have
that.
to do that too.
Well, I interviewed this guy, Alistair Bostwick, who is a journalist, and he's a journalist at Huffington Post, at BuzzFeed, very liberal kind of things. And I said to him, I go, if you had one story that, say, was positive about Trump, so if you took one thing, like, I don't know, let's say you took something like Trump's deregulation policies, and you can make an argument that they were good for economic some businesses or for certain segments of the economy.
Can't write it.
They're good for and he said it would get greenlit, but this is what happened. This is what's going on with our media. It would get greenlit. Your editor's not going to say you can't write it. The problem is, are they going to promote it?
Yeah.
Are they going to put it on the front page? How is it going to be for you when you come back to work the next day?
Yeah.
When all your colleagues are cutting their eyes at you?
Yeah.
And how long can you sustain that? If you're the one guy that's trying to, if you're just trying to be
Tell the truth?
controversial, yeah. If you're trying to go, let me see if I can come up with middle ground. There's some things I like about the right, some things I like about the left. You got to be all or one when you work for the Huffington Post, when you work for BuzzFeed.
yeah.
Can't be in the
The
middle.
problem with that is that
that's
now when the
fucking-
BuzzFeed writes something, or Fox News writes something, or Breitbart writes something, I already know what
There's an agenda.
there's
I
an
know
agenda.
what the conclusion.
So I got to read everything from the
Yeah.
right or the left with a grain of salt, because there's too much pressure on a journalist. It used to be you came and the whole thing was to write objectively, right?
Yep.
You wrote. You're trying to be responsive to evidence, and you go, well, here's this and here's that. That's what I also worry about. Yeah. I don't know where to look. Where do you get your info?
Just read all over.
All over. That's
All
what
over.
I do.
All over.
All over.
How about when I got off stage at the Laugh Factory? Right away, you go, bro, I figured out what you look like. I'm like, what? This is in front of a bunch of other comics. I'm like, what? You're like, you look like a Rottweiler who got his shit together.
Oh, you do, bro. Yeah.
Come on, man.
I'm just saying, dude.
Grab that mic, son.
You do, bro. Look.